fire. I was in webinar mode, I think, when I wrote it, or just who knows what I was doing. But I apologize for that. Thank you for the people who texted and said, why can I not get on the call? Because that was my fault. Sorry about that. Even Sara was like, why can't I get in? And she's the speaker tonight. And I was like, because it's not for another 30 minutes. And then, yeah, sorry. So it's 8:31. We want to be punctual. A lot of us are getting up early. Hi, Brucey. I just got your text message. Hey, Bruce. We're gonna start with our shout outs because we don't want to put them off to the end. We want to make sure everyone is on to hear them. And I'll start with mine, and then Erica will share hers. And then I'll just kind of give you a heads up on what Sara's going to talk about, and then we're going to let her take the floor because she's the bomb. So I want to shout out Salita Calicut. She's got a baby under the age of 1, and she is really working hard to make sure that she's doing her timed nutrition and she's getting her workouts in. She's also a full-time special education teacher, and she's struggling, but she is like not giving up. She's doing like everything in her power to make it work, and I'm so proud of her for that. Lauren Dole, because I actually got to see her in person for the first time in forever today, and she looks freaking amazing. She is clearly living out her journey right now, and she's doing a really good job sharing it on social media. And Erin Tate, because Erin has recommitted to the business, and you can tell she's showing up and she's being very vulnerable in her posts and just making sure again that she's hitting play every day, following the journey and sharing it along the way.
I don't know why I'm so dark. I'm sorry. Well, I'm in my bed right now. I wanted to shout out Tasha Winslow because she's a new coach and she is like rocking it. Like she has been on new calls every week. I think she might have missed one, but she did listen to the recording. And she has been posting about her journey on Facebook, like just jumped right in. She's doing 80-day obsession. She's posting in the groups. And I just think that's awesome because I think as a new coach, it can be scary and overwhelming and you like really don't know what you're doing, but like to jump in and just do it, like that's the best way to learn and get better at it. So also Candace Sharp, same kind of thing. Like she's just been rocking it in 80-day obsession, like adding value and commenting on people's posts, and she's doing her own posts on her personal page. Same thing. Like I just think that's great because she is jumping in like as a new coach as well. So that's all I've got. Sending it back to you, Lindsay.
Alrighty. So I asked Erica and I talked last week and we were just kind of brainstorming more topics for our calls pretty much, for the next few months. So if you have ideas for calls, I'll make a graphic in the team page and like just saying like team call topics, and you can comment underneath, and that will kind of give us some ideas of what you guys are wanting, what you guys are needing. But when we were talking last week, we have noticed, and you probably have too, that Sara Campbell Hernandez is a rock star at growing her team, and she has hit the ground running in 2018. So we wanted to reach out to her because one thing that we really want these calls to be is an opportunity for you to have something to take away and actually put into action. Not just, we want to all feel good and we want to get together and just see each other's faces on Sunday nights, but we also want it to be worth your time, and we want you to walk away with something you can use. I don't know if any of you go to like professional development or staff development for your jobs, but those trainings where you sit there and at the end you're like, well, that was a waste of my day because I got nothing to use. We don't want these calls to be that way. We want you showing up every week. We want you walking away with something to apply. So we asked Sara to share like what she does, because what she does is really the secret sauce that we talk about all the time. But I think she does it in a very intimate way. And I think that speaks volumes for how she runs her business, but also why she's successful. And then we asked her to give us, we don't want to say use a script But we asked her to give us some scripts to share with you guys so that you would have an idea of how her conversations go, so that you might use her as inspiration when you're talking to someone about the business opportunity as well. So I'm going to let her take it away from here. Uh-oh.
Good? Okay, so I at first when you asked me to share scripts, it kind of made me cringe a little bit because like Lindsay just said, scripts can be helpful, but they also are just that, they're scripted and they don't sound like you if they're not yours. So I did used to use like in the Josh Coates training or in some of our trainings in the past, there have been scripts that when I was at a loss and I hadn't really found myself in my way of inviting people, I would use those, and they just sound like what you might get from any other. It sounds so canned, and so it's taken me time, but I've kind of come up with I figured out how to integrate them naturally into the conversation and to kind of mold them to personalize it to each person. But what I want you to think about first, like before you even like inviting to the business is very scary. It still scares me a lot because if you think about it, these people that you're inviting to be a coach, they should be people that you really admire and that have these really admirable qualities of leaders, of women who inspire other women. Like those are the people that are on our dream teams, right? And so those are the last people that you want to either offend or to have them not want to talk to you anymore. And so it can be really intimidating to approach them. So when I invite someone to coaching, what I do is I really just think about like literally what has it done for me. So the 4 things that I think about that have meant the most to me since I've started coaching are the community and the support that I get from the team, the inspiration that I get from the team, not just like, inspiration from other moms or just other women who are working on being the best version of themselves, but also motivation for fitness. And then I also think about the friendship aspect. So whenever I start talking to someone, what I'm doing is I'm a lot of times I'm responding to a post they've made or to a conversation that we have going on about a struggle that they're having. And so if you listen to someone's story, you're going to see those holes in their happiness. And if you really think about this business, it offers little pieces to fill in those holes for almost any situation that you can think of. So, financial is also something that you can bring up, but I never try to lead it like that because for me, it is so much more. And if somebody is out there looking to make money, like there's so many sales opportunities out there. So what makes Beachbody different are all those other things that I just mentioned. So basically I have a couple of conversations here. And part of this is really just like opening up your heart to people. This, and I'll share these with you. But this is to a friend who, we went on a church retreat together years ago. She just had a really rough time with a miscarriage. But I just feel like she would gain so much from this opportunity. She has 4 kids, and so they struggle financially. And so whenever I messaged her, I basically just said, hey, I know you're super busy. I totally understand. I can't imagine having 4 kids as opposed to the one that I have. But I just want to talk to you about the community that I found with my coaching. They just remind me of you. Like how when you meet someone, this is not what I said to her, but how when you meet someone and you're just like, you would love my girls. My girls would love you. Like, I just literally, I just know she would love it. And so what I said was, I've really prayed about talking to you about this because I never want you to feel like I'm pressuring you. I had invited her to a challenge group in the past. And so that was kind of what I was referring to about pressure. But we have a call tonight. This was about our glance or our webinar. We have a call tonight to talk about what it entails, and I'd really love for you to check it out. Like, I absolutely know that you would love everything about the workouts, the convenience, how they would fit into your life around your kids and your kids' activities, the meal plans, and above all else, helping other people. It's just you to a T. If you can't make it, I'd love to sit down and talk with you sometime about it. It's just changed my life. So that was to her. There have been other times where I have, like, for inviting to the glance group, I'll have a general kind of a skeleton of a message, and I basically talk about what glance group is, the fact that there's no pressure, it's just information, but I'll kind of lead into it, picking up on where our conversation was before. So with this conversation, I knew she was moving, so I started out saying, hey, I know you've been busy traveling, I was just thinking of you. I know you have approached me about being interested in coaching in the past, and we're running a informational group once a month now, and I wanted to invite you to tonight's. So blah, blah, blah. Then I told her the rest of it. So that was just a little example of how you can easily personalize it. Like, you can copy and paste the bulk of it, but just personalize the beginning. This one is the last one, but really, I really wanted to share this one because I don't know if Taylor's on here, but this is a really good thing to help kind of connect people. So this girl's a runner, and I don't know if you all know Taylor, but she's a runner, and she's a Beachbody coach, and she's really big on running with her kiddo. And this girl had posted a picture in her double bob stroller with her babies, and then her next post was about how her and her husband were struggling financially, and she wished that there was some way that she could just help take the load off of his shoulders. So when I messaged her, and we had messaged a few times, I had talked to her about running and her stroller and stuff like that. None of these are cold invites. So when I messaged her, I said, hi, Haley, I just saw your post. I would really love to help you. Have you ever thought about coaching? You can make a great income while doing something they're already passionate about from home. And Taylor, she actually knows Taylor because I met Taylor in a Fit Mom group, and she's in the same group. So they're already know of each other. And I told her, Taylor is in our group. She's an avid runner, and she started coaching on my team about 6 months ago and is loving it. I really think that you could find that same type of connection and find also a way to benefit your family at the same time. I would love to chat with you more about it sometime, ? Always end in a question. And she responded, and then we had a phone call for like 20 minutes, and she doesn't have the money for the sign up right now, but she was very enthusiastic about it. And so we'll see when the time, or if the time is right for her. I'm not pressuring her, but I'm checking in to see just how her family's doing and how she's doing and how her holidays went and things like that. So there was one other thing I wanted to say that you can share with people. So I wanted to just stress that, like, don't think, oh, I can't share anything really awesome about the business because I don't have a huge income. And that's why I stress those first 4 things, because there's so much more to this business than money. And yes, that's important, and it will come with time if you believe in it and you believe in yourself. But you can, even before you're making money, I mean, you could be a coach. I was already, when I was inviting other coaches after a couple of months, I wasn't making much money. But what I was feeling was how it felt to help someone through their first challenge and to see their transformation, not just physically, but to see them start believing in themselves. And it only takes a couple of weeks, you guys, to see that and to feel that. Like, that's just like something that you can't put a price tag on that. And if you know somebody else who is fueled by that, and a lot of people are, they've just never experienced it, then share that. Share what has kept you going in this business. So, like the things that I said at the beginning, just the community and friendships, that's something that you can share with people. And then, the opportunity to make money is just kind of like the icing on the cake. So I always lead with those. I feel like that is our foundation. Our culture here is definitely what sets us apart, and it's what holds us together. So I always kind of lead with that because it's what makes us unique, and I think it's the best thing that we have to offer. That's it.
Sara, would you be willing to share? I know that you had notes on your phone. Would you be willing to share them in like a file? or
Yeah.
something in the team page. Okay. Something that she said when she said, don't focus, like when you're talking about the business, don't always focus on income. I actually wrote that down and I said, don't focus your business posts on your income. So I was talking to some other coaches, and one of them said, I don't rely on my Beachbody income, but I use it to do things like buy my daughter a costume or, little things like that. And it's like fun money for me. Is it okay to talk about it like that? And it absolutely is. My household doesn't rely on my Beachbody income because I work full-time and my husband works full-time. So it's play money in a way for us, but because of who we are and how we run our finances, it's actually like nest egg money for us. So it has allowed us to do things like I'm planning a Disney vacation for us. It's allowed us I bought a couch a couple months ago, things like that. So it's okay to talk about the income like that. But you also don't necessarily have to focus on the income. So maybe you're a new coach and you haven't made any money yet. Or maybe you're a new coach and you're making, $50 to $100 a month or something, and you don't feel like that's really worthy of being spoken about. It is. It's like those little things, like being able to hop on Amazon and buy your kid a costume because they want it. And that feels so good for you as a mom. So share that. But also, like Sara said, share all the other amazing things that have come from this business. Like if you were on the webinar with us the other night, every woman that spoke about all these incredible things that have benefited them from joining this business. And only a fraction of that was about money. Most of it was about the community, the friendships, how it's blessed the whole family, how it's impacted the family's health, how it has given them more energy, more patience, all these other things that come with working the business that are not about our wallet. Because let's be honest, most of us on here didn't say, I need to make some money, I'm going to become a coach. Most of us on here said, I need something. It is time for me to do something for me. I'm going to become a coach. Like that's typically how we got here. And so that's typically how we're going to let people feel comfortable coming to us. Most people aren't coming to us saying, I need money, so tell me what you do. Most of them are saying, you always look happy. You always have energy. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how, I need help prioritizing myself. I don't know how to get started. Those are the things people come to us saying. So a couple of things that I did in the very beginning when I was recruiting, I hate to use that word recruiting, it makes me feel like a football coach or something. But when I was like inviting people to the business, I was manifesting what I wanted. Like at some point I finally was like, I'm Lindsay Matway. I'm not Lindsay Gaines anymore. I'm Lindsay Matway. And I'm going to write a post like I'm Lindsay Matway. And all these people who comment on it are lucky that they saw my post and that I'm going to invite them to this opportunity. And I just faked it till I made it. One trick that I learned right away was say, comment or message me, because even if not a single person comments, you can be like, guys, I'm going to get to my inbox later. I swear, I'm so sorry. I'm like overwhelmed right now. And I don't have a freaking message in my inbox, but you can totally fake it till you make it. And you can say things like, all these women are messaging me, asking me these questions. Like sometimes on Instagram stories, I'll share something and one person will write to me saying, oh, where'd you get that? And I'll be like, let me make a video. I'm having people message me asking me about where I got this, and I just have to share it with you all so that I don't have to answer all these messages individually. Like totally fake it till you make it. You are not lying. You're just like acting like you're much bigger than you really are right now. And that's okay, because in our minds and in our hearts, we're already manifested. I just saw a question pop up. How do you respond to someone who likes a coach post but doesn't comment on it? I usually reach out to them and say, hey, I noticed that you liked my post about, I don't know, buying a swing set, or you liked my post about this trip I'm going on, or something like that. I'd love to share what I'm doing. And sometimes I know that just your support means the world to me. It's like, sometimes I don't even say something about sharing with them. Sometimes I'll be like, I noticed that you liked my post about what I do in my business, and I just wanted to let you know it means a lot to me to know that I have your support. And that usually opens a door. Or at least makes it so that the next time I talk to them, it's not a cold invite or a cold, message or whatever.
I'm going to sneak in real quick and add something that I do. I need to get back to this because I've kind of realized I've been really slacking on like business type posts. But Summer Tucker calls it breadcrumbing, where you're not necessarily like saying, join me, message me to do this, but you're talking about the little aspects of coaching, or, what coaching does for you. And so what I've done in the past is I've made a list in my phone of things that I can talk about. So like just two big things off the top of my head that are huge for me. One, you guys know I have all these health issues, and last year, I swear I spent like 90% of my life at the doctor's, and I never would have been able to do that as a teacher. I never would have been able to ask for that much time off. I wouldn't have been able to put my health first. And so that was a huge thing for me to talk about last year. And then the other thing is being able to be here for Cole. Like, I know as stay-at-home moms, like sometimes it can be hard because you're like, well, I was already a stay-at-home mom, and I would be even if I wasn't a coach. So how can I use coaching for whatever? But I see people like on snow days or like 2-hour delays. The people who comment and are so stressed about childcare, they're like freaking out and yelling at the superintendent because he's not calling it fast enough. And I'm just like, thank God I don't have to be that person. Like, I don't have to worry about that. So that's a big thing for me. So I write things like that in my phone so that I can just quickly, like, if I know I need a coach post, I can just go to that list and be like, okay, what can I talk about today? Like, there's a million things that coaching does for us, and it's good to just have that go-to list so you can like pull from it.
Yeah, one thing when Erica and I were doing calls with our mentor from Beachbody, one thing that she actually said to us was, do not make every post a call to action. Like, don't ask them to do something at the end of every post, because it starts to feel icky, and people stop reading your posts if every single one of them is a call to action. Now, you should have some, but it can be things like, in my Instagram stories today, I shared a picture of me unable to pull my pants up much past my knees in November. And then yesterday, having them up and buttoned because of all the work I've done from November to now. And I asked a question like, do you have clothes that don't fit you hanging in your closet? And then I asked another question that said something like, why do you keep them? And it was either hope or anger were the answer choices. So much more engagement than like any other poll I've ever done, like over 30 responses on both questions. So make sure that all of your calls to action or all of your business posts aren't predictable, aren't like, oh, she's just trying to get me to join her team again. Like, I really love that breadcrumbing idea that Erica just talked about, because just sharing little tidbits, like, it gets people's attention and it sparks their curiosity, which is something we talk about all the time. And that is going to get them to start asking you questions about the business. People are always watching. You don't have to beg them to join. You just have to keep sharing the opportunity. And it doesn't have to be like, join me tonight on this webinar. It can be things like what Erica just said. I don't have to worry about taking off for a doctor's appointment, or, things like that. It's nice to know that when my washer broke a couple months ago, I didn't have to stress about getting a new one. Like, we just figured it out with the Beachbody income. Little things like that are big to share. if anyone else doesn't have any questions, I'm okay with wrapping up the call early tonight. But if somebody has questions, go ahead and either unmute yourself or throw them up in the chat box, and we'll make sure to answer them. It can be anything about like recruiting, about inviting, about how to post about the business, if you have any questions about any of that.
I had a question. Excuse me, I'm kind of eating my dinner. I actually was going to post it in Team Evolve, but I guess this is a good opportunity. So I'm really excited. I am going to be leading a community group at my church starting this week, and it's going to be health and fitness. And so, of course, you know, and it's going to be once a week, and it's going to be for 13 weeks. And I think I have about 15 women that will be at my house every week. And so I've been kind of struggling about, I mean, of course, I want to share like healthy recipes and do workouts. So I thought we could do Beachbody on Demand, but I also wanted just some maybe advice on how I can share some of what I'm doing, like Shakeology and things like that, without making it feel like I'm trying to sell them things, because that's really not the purpose. Although if things, you know, come out that way, you know, that would be great, you know, as a business opportunity, or maybe get some coaches. But I guess I'm just kind of struggling with how I can share without making it feel like they're only joining this group and I'm going to be sharing everything about Beachbody.
Well, an easy one would be Shakeology bars, just having those on hand, and not necessarily like, you know, to be like, these are Shakeology bars, you know, just this is a healthy treat that I really love, or something that you like. And then
I did think about that too.
you might want to do like some sort of book club with them, like to talk about the importance of personal development. And you can even talk about like how it's helped you in different areas of your life, but like picking a book that would, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but something that you guys would all enjoy reading together, because I feel like that goes along really well with health and fitness and a community type thing.
Made to Crave would be good. Sorry.
Yeah, someone else has said that too. And Grace Not Perfection, Lindsay said.
Yeah.
I don't have any other ideas off the top of my head. I think just like doing different workouts and sharing them. Sharing what you love, but like you don't have to say like, this is a Beachbody thing or this is what I do. It's just like, this is a workout I really love. And I feel like that's like natural enough that it would eventually lead to other conversations, you know?
Yes.
Anyone else jump in?
I was just going to say the same thing. Like, just be authentic, be you. Like, the way that you're so successful with your health and nutrition right now is with this. And because someone actually said to me once, like, do you really believe like that's the only way people can be healthy? And I was like, no, but it's the only way I know I can be healthy. So
right.
Since it works for me, I share it with as many people as I can, because
right.
if it could work for them, I want to share it. And
right.
that's how you can kind of look at this. Like, this is something that has really blessed me. And I wouldn't even like come right out and say anything like this. I would do like what Erica said, just share like, this is what I do. This is what I love. This is how I do it. You might even take a poll to see like what kind of exercise they're interested in or what kind of recipes they're looking for, and pull up the cooking show and maybe let them watch the cooking show one night. I mean, it definitely lends itself to fitting into what you're doing without you coming across salesy.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. I was going to do like a lesson on like counting your macros and like showing them different apps they can count calories, and showing them the containers, just so that, you know, because there are a lot of different options. So, you know, I just want to educate people. But I think the cooking show is a great idea, because they're really short and they're here for about an hour and 15. So I think the cooking show would be a good idea.
Before I was a coach, I ran a fitness group at my church for an hour every Wednesday night, and we all got together and we would circle up and we would pray together before we started, and then we would do a workout together. And then afterwards we would kind of all come together, stretch, and just like almost like debrief. And at the time I wasn't coaching. I didn't even know about Beachbody. We did hip hop abs a lot, even though I didn't know that I could be a coach. But I definitely think the conversation will go that way, because that's when everyone there is interested in the same thing and you're being successful at it and you've got this knowledge, they want to know more, and they're going to start asking questions. I had so many women asking me questions, and the only reason I knew anything was because I had researched for myself, not
Right.
because I really had accreditation from anybody.
Yeah, I really didn't think there was going to be this much of a response, but everyone was coming up to me in church, and I was like, oh my goodness. So it should be a good learning experience for me too.
It'll be fun. Sarah has a really good idea. I don't know if you saw it in the chat.
No, I can't figure out how to access the chat from my phone. I see them popping up.
She said you could even make one of the recipes together with the cooking show one week, like everybody make it together in your kitchen or something.
Yeah, I have thought about doing like a healthy recipe and then having everyone use the containers. Like if we were doing a taco salad or something, everyone could use the containers and kind of show them how that looks too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions? Any other advice for Tara? Okay. If that's all the questions. Oh, Mandy just said Miracle Morning is a good book, Tara. And Gretchen Rubin's Books for Habit Changes and Happiness. I know you can't see them. That's why I'm reading it to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. With that said, I'll post that little graphic in the team page. If you guys have things that you are wanting us to be talking about on the team calls, we are looking for some ideas. Again, trying to keep it where you actually walk away with something you can use, not just like motivation, and because we kind of do that all week long in the team page. We really want to give you a tool every Sunday. So Sarah's going to post her scripts in the files in Team Evolve. Look for that graphic and have a great week.